some of the pros and cons for cyberschooling are going to be included in this short, brief section. I'd like to include some things to give you a general overview of why some parents and students choose to do cyberschooling and why others are very hesitant to do so. An individualized program of instruction, an IPI, is for each student that attends the cyber school. It is kind of like a correlation, a very loose correlation between an IEP, meaning that the student doesn't necessarily need specially designed instruction other than the cyber schooling itself. However, the entire curricula has been established and created for that particular student's learning style. That IPI is what draws a lot of parents and a lot of students with learning disabilities and or ADHD issues or medical issues to cyberschooling in the first place. Many of the students can attend class and do classwork wherever they can connect to a World Wide Web, which is one of the main reasons why many of Hollywood's glamour students, glamour kids, are also cyberschooled while they are on the road. There is a periodic conference for students to allow them to excel in each area or discipline. The parents have the opportunity to meet with the teachers or administrators on a face-to-face basis. However, it can be done over the phone or on computer as well. There's a strong emphasis on computer skills, and cyberschooling across the board believes that this strong emphasis in computer skills is better adapting and educating our students for their future, because we are definitely a technology-driven society at this point in time. Opportunities for children to maintain and further their education from the safety of their own house. Many of the cyberschooling students, although they are low economic status, are being schooled at home through cyberschooling because of environmental safety factors. Their parents do not want them to attend the inner city schools due to safety, fear of them being shot or harmed while they are in the classroom. Also, another one that I had mentioned that I had read about online was a little girl who had a anaphylactic response to anyone that had nuts, even if they had eaten peanut butter and jelly that morning, if they had had it the day before and didn't wash their hands. Any kind of nut actually would have the potential to kill her, so they decided to cyberschool her at home so she wouldn't have to run into any issues such as those. There is a lot more individual contact with teachers, a lot more parental contact from the parents as well in terms of keeping their child on track with their education. Schools send computers and printers to students if they need them, if they don't already have them. It may not be the newest of models, but they're definitely provided to that child. State-certified teachers and high-quality curriculum. There's also an extensive selection of electives and clubs are also drawing factors for many students now. Any Pennsylvania child can enroll in a public cyber charter school without a charge to the family. About 80% of our tax dollars are spent on cyberschooling students as opposed to 100% of the tax dollars spent on students who attend a public education facility. Cyberschooling also offer distinct curricula-focused college prep guided courses, which are available for many of the students that would be deemed gifted in a public school, and they don't necessarily have the opportunities to focus on college-based curricula. Cyberschooling can adapt their curriculum and offer those courses for them ahead of time, ahead of schedule, ahead of graduation, so they can actually start acquiring college credits. Those were all the pros. Some of the cons. These are harder to find actually online than the pros are, but some of the glaring cons that I found are as follows. Children are not afforded the opportunity to socialize with peers on a face-to-face basis daily. Everything is texting world, texting language, texting grammar, so forth and so on, and there's really no interaction, so social skills can be seen as diminished. There is also a concern about who is actually doing the work, whether it's the parent doing the work or the student doing the work. Also, one of the issues is that parents might not feel that the teachers are grading the work as they would be grading the work, or they may not feel as though their child is getting the best education that they can, because they really are overseeing absolutely everything, especially at the lower K through 6 levels for cyberschooling. Cyberschooling is not necessarily good for multimodality learners. For example, children that are proprioceptive, that need to touch and feel and move and have someone guide their hands. If the parent isn't in tune to that because they didn't necessarily have the educational background or psychology courses, they might not understand that their child needs that kind of input in order to help them better learn. Some of the teachers in our public schools are prepared for that, and they can see that, and they can help the child through that process, whereas cyberschooling doesn't have that modality available. The student must be a self-directed learner at the secondary level. At the elementary level, it's pretty much a safe bet that most parents can understand the curricula being offered. But at the secondary level, and I can speak for myself, my son were to bring home homework from math class in high school, I wouldn't be able to help him get through it if there weren't a resource available. So the students at the secondary level must be self-directed learners. Not all of the programs offered through Cyber School are commensurate with Pennsylvania state Commonwealth standards at this time. They're working on it, but at this time they do not line up the way that many people feel that they should. Most of the online assessment is objective, meaning multiple guess, as I like to call it in my classroom, or true and false. There is a very limited view on the student's actual aptitude and ability through objective grading scales. The subjective assessment, which is essay writing, isn't all that involved with the cyber schooling. Most of it is found within the English curricula of cyber schooling, but many of the other subject areas don't include essay writing because it takes a lot of time. The last thing that I wanted to mention was the fact that most of the cyber schools allow parents to proctor the exams. And in this day and age, many parents are, really under the gun to make sure that their students and their children are performing to the best of their ability. Many parents want their children to be able to walk into college, be it for a sports scholarship or an academic scholarship. And there is a large portion of people out there that feel that it may be concerning that the parents can actually proctor those exams. They feel that the results may not actually be valid and reliable. Those are some of the cons that are involved with cyber schooling. I hope you've learned something. Thank you.